right, hello everyone. Welcome today. We're really excited to be with you this month for our small group demo. It's an exciting one for us as we just got an exciting chance last week to announce a whole bunch of new products at ContentCon, our annual user conference. And BrandKit was an exciting announcement that was part of it. And so we're excited to be able to dive into it today and explore how it works and how you can start using it to really create on-brand generative AI content within your organizations. We'll start out with just some introductions here, but I'm joined by my counterpart on our product side, Christine Masters. I'll let her introduce herself in just a second, but my name is Brandon Eccles, and I'm on the product marketing team here at Contentstack, and working with our AI and automation products and alongside Christine, but I'll let her introduce herself as well.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Christine Masters, and I am the product manager here at Contentstack, as Brandon said, for AI and automation. I'm super excited to talk to you today about this new product. It's got a lot of great feedback so far. So yeah, let's get into it.
Definitely. So just kind of set the agenda today for some of the things we'll go through. We'll give you a little bit of context and overview on just what BrandKit is and some of the challenges that it's helping solve. And then we'll pass it over to Christine so she can dive into the product and really show you how it works and how you can really start using it. So one thing though, if you have questions or anything like that throughout the session today, feel free to put them in the chat, submit them. We will, if we don't answer them on the spot, then we will be sure and get to them at a time at the end. But yeah, feel free to add any questions that you have. All right, so just starting out, really just talking about what are some of the challenges around generating AI content, right? We all are using the chat GPTs of the world and to do a lot of tasks, to create content, things like that. But we all know that without a lot of guardrails or governance in place, that those responses can easily become very generic and not sound like the brand voice that you're intending to communicate in the content that you're creating. And so really we run into inconsistent generic responses, stuff that doesn't sound like us, and it requires a lot of back and forth, a lot of tweaking that really should be the time we're supposed to be saving thanks to AI. And then all of that leads to difficulties in scaling and really making it hard to implement an AI strategy that can help you grow and help you scale. And so what we want to do is we want to talk about BrandKit and how BrandKit helps apply some of the knowledge and context of your brand alongside the tone and voice and language that comes with the style of your voice, and using those two things to augment the AI responses that are being generated, and using that to really generate content that is on brand, that's relevant and speaks the way you want it to. And so it comes down to two main kind of things that help accomplish that. And those are voice profiles, which allow you to set up different instructions, different rules, different ways that you can instruct the AI to communicate using different tones or styles or languages. And so like an example here might be, you have something like a marketing voice that is more formal or serious for something like a blog, or for something like a press release, or something more official, but you have a more fun and engaging tone when it's a blog post or a social media post or something like that. And so being able to distinguish and set those rules and tones for how that content should sound really adds a lot of flexibility and freedom to how you go about this. And then the knowledge vault. This is a repository of information. Here you can add all of your brand context and information and details, so that it has that to use as a repository that it can ground its AI responses against. It supplements its knowledge of what it's able to respond to. And so keeping all of its responses a little bit more aligned and aligned with the context of your brand. And things that you can put into your knowledge vault. This can include help center articles. It can include blog posts. It can include all the things that you probably already have within your CMS. And this is another advantage, that having it all baked into this Contentstack platform allows you to tap into that content and use it as you're using it to generate content in the future. So want to go through, we have some really exciting customers who are who are getting a success out of this and who are setting it up and seeing exactly what they're hoping to. So we have a customer, Golf Breaks, who uses AI along with a brand kit to create descriptions for their golf courses. So in order for someone to be able to come in and start booking things, in order for customers to be able to book anything, they've got to get these listings up. And so being able to just have them automatically generated based on some of the rules and context of their brand has allowed them to really increase their speed to market, decrease the time it takes to generate content, and really get to the ultimate result that they're hoping for. And so really exciting things that we're seeing with some of our early customers that are seeing success with BrandKit. And so with that, I want to pass it over to Christine, who's going to show us a little bit more of how it all works.
Awesome, thank you. So I need to share my screen. There we go. All right. So yeah, we're just going to show kind of one of our demo sites. Hopefully you're able to see that now. And yeah, I mean, this is, I'll kind of just get started. I'll start from the front here a little bit, looking at my stacks. The brand kit will be a new icon on the left side of your screen when you have it enabled. And this will be a place where you can create any of these new voice profiles, or you can set up information for your knowledge vault. Right now, in this particular case, I've actually set up a stack for my knowledge vault. And then my stack is basically syncing to that vector database. If you're not familiar with what a vector database is, it's essentially a kind of a new way of storing information that you can find it semantically. And it's a lot faster and a lot better kind of relationships that you're able to create with content. And this is just a great way to use AI along with searching to find information that is very specific to your use case. So those are, like Brendan said, it's really easy to just come up with a content strategy versus what will go into your knowledge vault. Things like your blogs, your company information can just sync there automatically. In this case, I have a bunch of files related to Contentstack and kind of the things that were just announced at our conference last week. So those are going to serve as the background information that will help any generative AI that I create. So let's take a look at what that experience is like, and then we'll hop into BrandKit towards the end. So in this particular case, I've got an example article. And in this article, I just have like a kind of a prompt that I've started off here, which is, what did Connor Egan, VP of Product at Contentstack, announce at Contentstack or ContentCon last week? This is a very generic question. And you can kind of imagine if I'm Brandon or if I'm one of our marketing crew, where my responsibility is to write kind of an overview post or something like that about Contentstack. Anything that I can get from AI to help me with that is going to be useful, right? So even if it's some generic content, it's a nice start for me to have maybe an outline, have some ideas on how to put that together. But obviously, if it doesn't sound like my voice and it doesn't have all the right information, like Brendan said earlier, you're going to have to add a lot more to it and spend more time with it. So even though it's nice to have a starter there, even if it is not necessarily specific, any more that you can add to that to make it more on brand to my content or more specific to my information is going to be helpful. But let's start off using our AI assistant. And in the AI assistant, I'm going to basically just start off with turning off the voice profiles itself and also turning off the knowledge vault. You can choose to do this on any particular interaction that you want to do with AI Assistant. If you want to turn off knowledge vault for some reason, or maybe you're just testing out what the results are like, you can do that. And if you want to turn off your voice profiles, you can also do that. Again, just to kind of, in this particular case, just test out what it's like. I'm going to take this kind of generic question and I'm going to ask AI to essentially write a blog post about this. So we can kind of see from the start here that it's talking about the new features that they released at ContentCon. And you can kind of tell that it's not really saying anything super specific here. It's just mentioning that we're announcing some new features. They were designed to be user-friendly and intuitive, reducing the learning curve for new users. It's all kind of just fluff content. Now, if I were a marketer that had to write this blog post, I'm going to have to do significant amount. This is a nice starter, but I'm going to have to do a significant amount of work to kind of flesh this out and add additional content to it to kind of make it sound more like us, or actually add specific information related to my task. So I'm going to go back now and go back to that same content again. Now this time I'm going to turn on Knowledge Vault. So if I turn on the Knowledge Vault and ask that essentially that same question again. Now, this time it's actually going to do a retrieval augmentation, which means that it's going to get information from my vector database or my Knowledge Vault and add that background information, which has information about what products were announced, into this prompt that gets sent to AI. Now, immediately, hopefully you can see this on the screen, but immediately this is significantly better. You already see that in the previous version, it said something about Connor Egan, the esteemed VP of product. So that was a little bit kind of weird. Now it is kind of more grounded in truth. It's not kind of fluffy, generic ChatGPT content. And you can kind of see in here that we're immediately talking about Personalize, a new product that was announced at ContentCon last week. Personalize is a game changer, enables personalization at scale through AI. These are all specific talking points related to that product that were brought in through this Knowledge Vault process. You can see that they're talking again here about showcasing latest developments, personalize at scale. These are all, like this one right here, deliver the right stories to the right people at the right time, is one of our specific talking points, or kind of the motto for Personalize. So now this is actually something much closer to something that I would be able to use in reality. I might come in here and change a little bit about maybe my intro, maybe change a little bit about some of the phrasing to make it sound more like me, but this is very much more something that I would be able to use. Now let's do one more test, and we're going to turn on one of our brand profiles, let's say using, in this case, I'll actually use like the Neha Sampat voice, which is our CEO. Let's say I'm going to write this post maybe for her LinkedIn profile or something like that. Now, in this case, I'm going to leave the Knowledge Vault on because I really want that background information. And now I'm going to do the same prompt again. Now, in this case, we're still going to get both that information about Personalize, and you can see that some of those phrases are similar. Personalize is a game changer, etc. But now it's starting to talk a little bit more in what has been the designated voice for Neha, which is a little bit more engaging, a little bit more technical, and marketing at the same time. And her particular voice now, you can kind of see a little bit more of that in this post. There's, kind of just a couple of the words like helping you tell the right stories. It's a turbocharger to an already high performance engine. The result, ACMS that only manages content but helps deliver high powered personalized experiences. So this becomes a little bit more engaging and in the tone of voice that was established for Neha. And so again, now I'm getting a little bit closer to something that I would be able to use more, again, having a closer point where it's a starting point for where I can start working on this. And now I'm even closer to something that I can use, making a couple of tweaks. And instead of taking 4 hours to write a blog post, now I'm taking 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to write a blog post because I'm much closer to that end result. We still very much advocate that you don't want to necessarily create a bunch of content and have it go out just live without humans looking at it. We definitely want to still have humans reviewing that, but we just want to try to make sure that the human's time is used as efficiently as possible, and that this information gets created in the best way with the best resources and the best information from the start, so that you're able to do more things with your day. So that's kind of the way that this works within the editor here. Now I'm going to jump over very quickly and show sort of what this is like setting it up inside of BrandKit. I'm not going to say that right now. So again, in BrandKit, essentially at this level, just like with our stacks or with automation, we have this top level sort of project folder, and each of these project folders is called a brand kit. When you are looking at getting brand kit for yourself, the application, you sort of want to start off thinking about how many different brands do you want, and essentially how many different brand kits will be needed for your particular use cases. You can imagine having a situation where, there's obviously some very clear cut use cases for this, where if you have literally two different companies or two very specific different brands that you're working with, you could imagine those would easily be two different brand kits. You want the messaging to be separate. You want the voice profiles to be separate. The knowledge vaults, where you're bringing in that information, you don't want them to cross-contaminate each other. So in those types of cases, you might want to have two or more different brand kits to separate them out. But also there might be other situations where maybe you have a different brand kit for social media specifically, or a different brand kit for maybe different languages. Depending on your specific use case, you can divide them up how you need. But again, brand kits contain a separate knowledge vault and separate voice profiles within that kit itself. So let's go ahead and look at our Digital Lifestyles brand kit here. And you can see that I've got a couple of different brand kits set up. It's really fun to go into these blog posts and like experiment with different voices to get them sort of the way that you want. In here, there is this communication style mixer. And this is really fun to be able to play with these different sliders and really fine tune the voice that you want. In the case with Neha, we have it both as sort of a professional level, a more assertive tone of voice, subtle humor level, and straightforward in terms of manner of speaking. But you can kind of switch these up and make it a little bit more serious and a little bit more professional, which would be kind of along the style of maybe documentation, or you could make it more casual and a little bit more lighthearted, and then that might style itself towards something like a social media post or something that you might see on LinkedIn. So you can play with those. Now, I will say that we were very careful when designing this, that we did kind of dial in the extremes of these different kind of personality types. You're not going to see super ultra formal, like, these and thous and things like that. We've kind of dialed that in a little bit. And you're also not going to see like super, super casual, where it's using a lot of slang or maybe a lot of jokes like a comedian or something like that. It is a little bit more dialed in for the enterprise use cases. And obviously, if you really needed something like that, you could just turn off all of the sliders and set them all to none, and then change in terms of the description or any of the other details. If you wanted to say like, you're a comedian, they say lots of funny stuff, then you could actually get that type of profile if you wanted. But again, by default, we've kind of honed that in a little bit. So yeah, I think that's kind of the basic info there for our different brand kits. I will show just one more thing here in terms of a couple of use cases of how to implement this. I'm going to go over into our Automate application, and I just wanted to show you a couple of quick things in automation. Essentially, all of this, as usual, we've really done this the Contentstack way, and all of this is API first and available for automation. And we can just see here as an example, let's see, personalize. So this is kind of an example of an automation that actually uses our brand kit within the automation itself. So in this particular case, brand kit and knowledge vault are new connectors that are available within our automation platform. And inside of Automate, I can actually choose to get in specific profiles, or maybe there's some kind of a variable of how to get in that profile. And then I can pull in pieces of that profile and actually insert it into the prompt where I want, and then use that in order to generate content in that specific tone of voice within an automation. So you can imagine how this can be used in different cases. Again, trying to set up something for a social media profile, or doing something with a translation use case, if you wanted to use a brand voice to establish a, maybe certain guide rules around how your translation is done, or maybe specific words that should be translated or specific words that should not be translated, all of those could be part of how that brand kit is set up and the descriptions inside of that brand kit, which will give guidance and alignment to that AI as it's generating content. And yeah, I mean, I think that's probably it that I was going to sort of walk through here. I just wanted to kind of really emphasize that if you're interested in this, we'd love to do a maybe more in-depth demo or talk to you about some use cases. And I think that this is going to be something that, especially with how your content is already in the system, we're able to both help you use that content to create that company vector database that helps you guide those responses, as well as brand kit, which helps it makes you sound like you. And all of those things together with our automation platform and with our AI assistant platform, we think that we're going to be able to do some really amazing things. So we're super excited about this.
Yeah, and just like you said, Christine, for those who are interested in learning more or who want to maybe more in-depth demo, or because one of the hardest things, right, is just going and figuring out how we can go about, once you've got that voice, how do you go about either creating automations that are on brand or things like that. And sometimes identifying use cases can be helpful once you've seen some of the other successful customers that we've had and things like that. And so that I just want to throw a quick plug for one of the other things that we launched at ContentCon, which was our AI accelerator program. And so just trying to pull this up here as I sharing the wrong one. Here we go. We have an AI accelerator program that will allow us to work together and help you identify use cases and get up to speed and have a successful AI implementation within your organization. So if you've got AI initiatives this year, or things that you've been thinking about doing, or things that you're already doing, we'd love to work together with you to help you get better at it or identify new areas that could be helpful for you. And so if you're interested in the AI accelerator program or learning more about Brand Kit and how it can be helpful for you, then we have a website here that you can visit, and we'll also be sending out some other resources as well. But
yeah, if I can just add in there just very quickly, I just wanted to say that the AI accelerator process has been so fun to work with our customers on that. We've had a range of customers, from people who had a very specific use case in mind, where they came in saying, like, we want to do this specific thing, and instead of kind of we want a lot more guidance in that. So we can sit down and talk about what LLMs to use, which ones work best in that particular situation, which ones are most aligned with your business. We can talk about kind of the, how to use automation, how to use AI assistant, and which is the best way. We can help map that. Or if you're in a situation where your board of directors is telling you that you really need to do something with AI this year and you're not exactly sure what, we can also help in that situation, sitting down with you, talking about, we have kind of a menu of different use cases. We can go through those with you in depth. You can look at those and decide which ones, here's 5 that are the most compelling to me. And you're able to really fine tune that. And then we'll help you set those up and help you with that training. So it's just a really great way to really prioritize AI and efficiencies within your organization and just get up and running quickly on it so that you know what you're doing and you get everything all set up properly. So it's a great way to fast track this. And like I said, I think AI is very important this year. This is a great way to get you into the right place where you can get started and be successful, making sure that you're implementing it in the right, safe way, so that it's responsible for your business, but also can help you create content more efficiently.
Totally. It feels like a great way to end it. So with that, we will go ahead and end things, and we'll be sending out the recording and everything, but we will see you all next month. Thanks so much for joining. Take care.
Thank you.